Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, August the 6th. We'll start off with a look at the tropical scene in the Atlantic Basin. It has become more active. There are right now about 3 different systems to monitor, and actually a fourth one. Another wave has just moved to around the west coast of Africa. Pretty impressive wave. That could be a player later on this month, and then we'll focus in on the continental U.S. There's a very strong high-pressure ridge centered over the southeastern part of Canada, having a big influence on the weather across the northeast U.S., the mid-Atlantic region, and it looks like it will continue to have a big role over the next several days, so we'll focus in on that as well. Here's a look at the current situation in the Atlantic Basin. First of all, we have Tropical Storm Dexter. It has not intensified in the last 48 hours or so, still maintaining its a maximum sustained winds at about 45 miles per hour, so very unlikely to reach hurricane status. Nonetheless, continues to move in this fashion over the next couple of days and remains as a tropical storm this morning. Meanwhile, we have a tropical wave that's been sitting just off the southeast U.S. coastline, contributing to some rainfall across the Carolinas and into other sections of the eastern U.S. It does not look like right now it will make a push much farther to the north and west. There was a possibility that it would move in this direction over the next few days, potentially producing some rain as far north as the mid-Atlantic region. That the odds are against that right now. It's certainly not impossible, but it's something we'll monitor over the next few days. Right now, odds favor moving slowly off to the northeast here and maybe northeast over the next few days. But again, it is contributing to some rainfall right now across the Carolinas, so that's another wave. There's a third wave on the map here, and it moved off the west coast of Africa a few days ago. Continues to look like it'll move in a west or northwest fashion, probably recurving to the north before ever reaching the U.S. here. And this, of course, something else we'll monitor. And again, I mentioned up front, there's another wave now. This was that impressive wave that was still over the continent of Africa a few days ago. It has exited the west coast right now. This could be a player. There's a possibility, let's say 10 to 15 days down the road, speculation that could be a player somewhere in this area, let's say around August 20th or so. So it's something, of course, we'll monitor over the next several days. But here's a look at the current nationwide radar loop here from WSI's Intellicast.com. Again, there's some tropical moisture now feeding into the Carolinas, all the way into the southeastern part of Virginia, by the way. And showers are possible today, let's say from just east of D.C. to across the Delmarva Peninsula into the southern part of New Jersey. Maybe the rest of the Mid-Atlantic region can also experience a shower or some drizzle. But keep in mind, strong high pressure centered over the southeastern part of Canada. That is kind of adding some moisture. Along with that tropical system, we're getting some low-level flow of air out of the east or northeast in this part of the nation. So that's feeding in some Atlantic moisture kind of to combine with that tropical moisture. And again, decent rainfall amounts across Virginia and the Carolinas. Also, a nice little line here this morning here cutting across the northwestern part of Iowa. Some strong thunderstorms associated with that. Not really a severe weather maker, but nonetheless an impressive line this morning, dropping south and east across Iowa. Also some rainfall out across the Pacific Northwest. Well, here's a 10-day forecast map with total precipitation amounts, in this case total rainfall amounts, over the next 10 days from last night's 0-Z run of the GFS. A couple things I want to point out. First of all, a lot of moisture here in the southwestern states. This is part of that monsoonal flow of air where some moisture rides in from the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean. Again, at this time of the year, especially for the next couple of months, it results in kind of a scattered to numerous afternoon and evening shower and thunderstorm type of pattern. Places like Arizona, New Mexico, even in Colorado and Utah. So a lot of this over the next 10 days, your monsoonal type of activity here out across the Four Corners states. Meanwhile, a lot of tropical moisture hanging around the southeastern coastline across the Florida Peninsula, resulting in some decent rainfall amounts over the next 10 days. And again, there's a wave right now just sitting off the southeast U.S. coastline. Probably moves in this fashion over the next few days. Could very well become a named tropical storm. Something we'll monitor. It is throwing some tropical moisture back into the Carolinas and even Virginia this morning. We'll have to monitor it. Now notice the 0Z run of the GFS did not put out much precipitation at all across the Mid-Atlantic region, so it is not seeing that tropical system moving to the north or any other tropical system having an impact. That doesn't mean we're in the clear, though. We'll have to continue to monitor all those systems out across the Atlantic Ocean. A lot of decent rainfall here in the middle and northern part of the Mississippi Valley region, all the way from Missouri to Minnesota here over the next 10 days. Meanwhile, farther to the west, very little, if any, precipitation across much of the interior western U.S. Well, let's take a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps, again using the 0Z run of the GFS. These maps, by the way, from tropicaltidbits.com. The big player here over the next several days is this, really maybe over the next week or two, that strong high pressure ridging over the southeastern part of Canada. And whenever you see that high pressure over southeastern Canada this time of the year, that to me raises a red flag. Watch out. There could be some tropical systems that can cut underneath this ridge from the east to the west. So this is sending kind of a red flag that watch out in this area here over the next several days here. Again, this is quite anomalous high heights compared to normal here across the southeastern part of Canada. We'll move forward here in time, and notice it doesn't move all that much. It tends to weaken and then rebuilds across southeastern Canada, so this kind of a pattern will continue for the next several days. There's a strong surface high up here, and we'll see that in a moment. By the way, another upper level ridge situated here over the southwestern states. Now, let's move forward in time, and again, this remains a big player here over the next several days. Nice, cool upper level trough out across the Pacific Northwest. We saw some rain there this morning. Looks like that threat of rain will continue on Thursday, but maybe a little shifted to the east here across Idaho and western Montana, for example. Here we are now at the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend, and it kind of faded away for a bit here, but then by the weekend, that high pressure ridging over the southeastern part of Canada. This is Hudson Bay, by the way, right here. Just kind of refills or reforms here over eastern Canada. And again, this is kind of a red flag this time of year that tropical systems can undercut that upper level ridge here. So it's something we'll watch for over the next week or 10 days or so. Let's continue to move forward in time here, and we'll see still maintaining that high pressure ridging over eastern Canada. This is Sunday and going into Monday, and this is kind of a reflection of that tropical system that is now off the southeast U.S. coastline. It can intensify in a tropical storm, a named tropical storm over the next few days, and then maybe head to the north and east. And that is the reflection here from the 0Z run of the GFS by the time we get to the early part of next week. Let's keep going farther out in time, and here we go into the middle of next week. Now, this is a week from right now. The middle of next week, we'll go out even farther in time. We'll see that upper level ridging relax for a while, but then builds right back in towards the end of next week, and we'll go out a little bit farther in time just to show a reflection here of a tropical system in last night's 0Z run of the GFS, right down here, starting to show up on the maps, way down to the south here. This is again around August 20th or so in the Yucatan Peninsula region of Mexico. And here we are, right here. Could become a player. Again, I'm looking at that time period, 18th, 19th, 20th or so, for possible storm to monitor in this part of North America. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps. And again, we have this strong high pressure ridge. Look at that right here, a 1033 millibar high centered over southeastern Canada. That is a big player across the northeast, across the mid-Atlantic region. It is adding some Atlantic moisture. Winds flow clockwise around high pressure systems. You have an ocean flow of air, and you have a tropical wave also sitting right in this area right here. So the combination of Atlantic moisture from that high pressure region, low-level ocean flow of air, and leftover moisture from a tropical system, resulting in quite a decent rainfall across the Carolinas into Virginia this morning. And this is providing some very nice weather this time of the year for New England, for example, with plenty of sunshine and moderate temperatures, no intense heat in sight really for the mid-Atlantic, the northeast U.S., and largely as a result of that strong high pressure situated over southeastern Canada, because it stays up there for another few days. Let's go out in time here. We'll see this moisture here does work its way a little bit to the north and east here, but this tropical wave tends to stay off the eastern seaboard right here. Here we go into the end of the week, and here it is. Again, this is a reflection on this particular model on the 0Z run of the GFS, but this is that tropical system right here. It could become a named tropical storm. Now notice this high shifts over the next 48 hours or so from here to here, and that kind of changes the pattern a little bit in the mid-Atlantic region. And one thing it'll do is become quite breezy. You can see the isobar pattern, the pressure gradient pattern kind of tightening up between that departing high off to the north and east, and a potential tropical storm by the end of the week. Will go out a little bit farther in time. Tends to want to move this out to the north and east as opposed to up along the Atlantic seaboard. I kind of favor this solution here, that this system moves to the north and east. We'll continue to monitor it over the next few days, and there it is by the time we get to the early part of the upcoming weekend. Could be a named tropical storm at this time, and then we'll move forward in time here and go through the weekend into the early part of next week. Still high pressure, kind of the big player here across the eastern U.S. Some moisture over the middle part of the nation, but really no excessive activity going on, both in terms of precipitation and in terms of temperature. No intense heat really showing up here on the maps, and no tremendous rainfall. And again, we'll have to monitor all these tropical systems over the Atlantic Ocean now here for the next week or two here. It looks like a continuation of an active period, but we get these frontal systems coming through from northwest to southeast. This is a week from right now, the middle of next week. They can certainly produce some showers and thunderstorms. But another thing they can do is kind of help to prevent tropical systems from making their way all the way into, let's say, the mid-Atlantic region. Once you keep getting these frontal systems, and here we are a week from right now, this front moving in this fashion, this may very well be the reflection of a tropical system, but a cold front moving like this from northwest to southeast would reduce the chances of this reaching the U.S. mainland. We'll see. This is all speculation phase at this point here, but it's something to watch here. This is, again, a week from right now, the middle of next weekend, pretty much the middle of the month of August. We'll go a little bit farther in time, and here you can see that little tropical wave kind of stopping in its northwest movement and starting to recurve to the north and east. Again, here we are now in the 15th of the month here, and again, this is now getting to the time frame where I do believe it could be that last wave that just exited off the Africa west coast, somewhere in this area, let's say around the 18th, 19th, or 20th or so. They're very speculation phase at this point. We'll see this particular model run doesn't indeed show some signs of it way down to the south in the northwestern part of the Caribbean Sea by about the 19th or 20th of August. So very, very strong high pressure situated over the southeastern part of Canada, a big player over the next several days. An active Atlantic basin. We'll continue to monitor
3 or potentially even 4 systems over the Atlantic Ocean here over the next several days. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this is your meteorologist, Paul Dorian.